no man is going to a woman with a selfless motive. It's,
some people, yeah.
No, he's not going to her with a selfish motive.
You're not a man. You don't know.
I know, baby. I know men.
I am a man.
Because you just asked me before the cameras came, how you know that?
Yeah, I asked you, but shit.
Yeah, because you know I was telling the truth.
It's some truth. It's a lot of truth to what you're saying.
Come on, you know it.
But some things just not adding up to me.
Listen, let me tell you something. First and foremost, the male is highly visual. Okay.
Yes.
And so sex and quote unquote love come from the same place for y'all, right? When y'all quote unquote fall in love, y'all's visual processing unit is amplified. Yes, the brain. Yes, the brain scans show this.
Infatuation, sexual desire.
Hold on.
Not love.
Hold on. That's the reason why Greek males labeled it eros love. Eros love, which is eroticism, which is lust. That's a quote unquote form of love that comes out of the mind of a male, right? And why did the male say this? It's because when y'all look at something, your idea of love is attached to your phallus, right? Y'all, everything is about y'all Peter Whacker, right? Y'all see the world through your Peter Whacker, right?
Well, once we use the Peter Whacker, once we use this Peter Whacker and get our rocks off, like now we have this clarity. And for us to still make that decision to be with a woman, love a woman, build a future with a woman, that's nothing to do with visual or even sexual.
No, because that's something else. That's why I got the 41 Shades of Men, the pursuit to subdue and use you. Men will sleep with women that they are not even visually or physically attracted to get other stuff out of her, right? Maybe he need his credit fixed, so he'll put a paper bag over her head and make it out. You know it's the truth.
There's truth to that. Yes, there's truth to that. But is that 100% true?
Look,
no.
We both should know what's going on. Let's be transparent, girl, we grown. It's getting late, so call my phone, so we can do this one-on-one. Girl, we ain't doing
Okay, welcome to the Rich and Unemployed Podcast, Uncut. I am your host, Jonathan Dupatin, aka Finesse. Before we get started, make sure you guys check out the Patreon for the exclusive content, for the content that's coming out early before it's released. Check out the merch, www.richunemployed.net, to get the merch to support the brand. Also, you motherfuckers need to donate to the cause. This costs to BB. So I would greatly appreciate if you guys. I'm gonna leave a link in the description so you guys can donate to the cause, whether it's $1 or $1,000. That might work, right?
Yeah.
My first time saying it.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Let's go ahead. Introduce yourself.
Well, I'm Princella the Queen Maker. A lot of people refer to me as different monikers: Pastor P, the Queen Maker, Pimp Seller, Professor P. I'm all that. I'm just a P. Master Teacher P. I'm all that. But primarily, I'm the Queen Maker. I make queens.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Let's dive a little deep, because you say you make queens, but you have a lot of content about men.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, let's just stick on the queen part.
Okay.
Just go.
All right. Okay.
Just go.
Well, so first and foremost, the queen is the most powerful piece on the chessboard.
The second?
No, she's the most powerful piece, right?
Okay.
The king is the most important piece.
Okay.
Importance and power is not synonymous.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so the queen is the most powerful piece because it's the most free piece on the board. It has the ability to move in any direction uninhibited. That's what makes it so powerful. That's what makes it so much of a great piece. Women have that same power only if they have the freedom, right? So because women have an innate power in themselves that men do not have, it makes them able to move like the queen on the chessboard. Men typically use these women to get into spaces that they can't get into on their own, right? Mm-hmm. So, you know, that's what makes the queen powerful. So what I tend to do is to develop women so that they can move like the queen, because it ain't about how you look. It's not about how you dress. It's about how you think and how you move. And you can think and move like a queen wearing baseball caps.
Like how you doing?
Exactly.
Well, what do you like, men or women?
Well, I date women now. I used to deal with men, but after I mastered men and figured out who they were, I realized they're not compatible with me. Yeah. So, you know, I dap y'all up. I shoot a couple hoops with y'all, but getting in relationships with y'all, now I'm gonna leave that for somebody else.
Okay. At what point have you felt like this was like a recent conquer?
Yeah. I've been dealing with men my whole life. You know, I got married, had a kid. I dated. I've been friends with males and the whole 9 yards. And you keep getting the same results out of them. No matter if they're your friends, no matter if you work with them, no matter if you date them, listening to them on podcasts, it's the same thing. And so, you know, I did a lot of personal
What's that thing that's the same?
Lying, triangulating, inability to be truthful and to be honest, to develop something or even connect deeply with a person. The male can't do it, and there's a reason why he can't do it. And once I figured out the male totally, I realized I'm spinning my wheels working with him or dealing with him.
Do you feel like it's easier to deal with women?
I feel like I'm really good at human behavior. I'm really good at personal relationships. So I wouldn't say that humans altogether would be easier. You just have to know how to deal with humans. You have to be social. Mm-hmm. But what I find more fulfilling with women is that you get the deeper connection. You get the emotional, spiritual, mental connection, the depth. That's what I want, right? When you deal with someone who likes you, it's so much easier to deal with that person, right? Dealing with people who don't like you and who have issues within themselves, it doesn't matter if you're male or female, people are going to have problems with them, right? But being who I am, I don't have issues with women.
You wasn't getting love from it. Like you wasn't getting the connection she was desiring.
Right. Yeah, I came to the conclusion that men are incapable of love.
Yeah, I think I've heard you say that.
Yeah.
Well, what do you think we're capable of?
I think y'all capable of having sex. I think y'all capable of running game. I think y'all capable of keeping women in la la land. I think y'all capable of that. I think you're capable of getting your ego stroked, but nothing more than that.
Do you hate men?
No, y'all just are who you are.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just trying to figure this out.
Yeah.
So, okay. What about women then? What are the negatives that come with dealing with women?
I haven't come across a negative in dealing with women.
It's only
so
been
to say.
A couple weeks or something, a couple months?
Well, I've only been dating them. Will be December be a year, right? Mm-hmm. So maybe I can say that from the women that I have dated, they might be a little sensitive, right? It's probably easy to hurt their feelings, you know. And maybe sometimes they might be a little insecure, right? Where they might think that you might like somebody else or not give them attention. That might be, but I think that has more to do with a lack of self-awareness and coming into themselves. And so that's where I come in at. So I kind of help them along their lines with that. Yeah. Why you looking at me like that?
It's interesting.
Yeah.
Very interesting. Okay. Well, oh yeah, I forgot to mention.
Mhm.
So like, I don't have any structure to this.
Yeah.
It's just kind of
Just a
freestyle.
conversation. Yeah.
Mhm. So before this year, before December last year, you were totally interested in men.
Yeah, all the way up until the last guy I dated. He was 7 figures older, and it was still the same issue. This guy was jealous of me and was in competition with me.
In what ways? Why?
Well, because he ran a company, a logistics company, and I have a military background in logistics, and I drove trucks for 6 years, so I kind of knew the industry a little bit. And he didn't like the fact that he might have needed my help to tighten up some of the operations that he was running. So he looked at me as if I was a threat to him, right? And because he had so much emphasis on men, he liked men. Like, he valued men. He did not value women. So he wanted to put men in positions, but they were always failing. And he found himself needing my help a lot. And I think he was not only envious of that, I think he was resentful. And so he did not like the fact that I had a lot of drive and work ethic. Now, this guy's 7 figures, right? He did not like the fact that I had a lot of drive, and he didn't want me to do my own thing, right? So he felt like if I left him, that I would be successful in something that wasn't connected to him. But if I was connected to him, he was going to try to sabotage everything that I had going on, simply because he was in competition with me. So it was the weirdest thing. And so it was like, you know what? I always find men being triggered to compete with me all the time.
Are these just thoughts, or
No,
they express this?
No, this is what they were doing, their behavior. I had one guy want to do a business. And I find myself, they say, oh, women supposed to support the man in the business. Okay, so I played a support role. And then I end up doing everything. And they end up being jealous of me doing everything. And so one time, this guy, there was like a mistake or something, and I was like, it should be this. And he looked at me, oh, I'm not stupid. You think I'm stupid. I'm better than you. I'm this, I'm that. Like, I can do this better than you. It's like, why do you all feel like you have to compete with me? Because
let's not say all. I've never been jealous of
yeah,
them.
well, let me tell you something. The average male, the average male finds himself in competition with women. If he can't compete with a male, the next best thing to compete with is a woman. It's like it's just like this.
I don't think so.
I think so. I see it with my own eyes. I hear it, right? I got men competing with me every day on social media, and they don't even know me, right? It's the I'm better than you. I can do this. We could do this better than you. It's like, why y'all always comparing yourself to me, right? So they compare themselves to me. It doesn't matter if, I spent 3.5 years selling cars. So I've been in very competitive environments. Mm-hmm. Men have always competed with me. Like, I was the top salesman in the car industry. They always find themselves compete with me. And they did everything they could to sabotage my progress. So it doesn't matter if it's in relationships, work environment, men are always in competition with me, right? Because I got a lot of drive, a lot of work ethic. You know what I'm saying? So I wrote 2 books. I recorded 2 CDs. I produced my podcast. I draw, I sing, I rap. I do a lot of stuff. So men do find themselves jealous of me a lot.
I've never been in competition, never felt that way about any woman.
Yeah. Well, you just an individual. You got to look at the whole, because guess what?
I never even had a homie that was, maybe it's the men that you're dealing with.
No, look at the world, because if you look in reality, when you look at, let's just take transgenders, for example. Who is going to who? Is it men transitioning to be women, or is it women transitioning to be men? And what is the conversation? Men really think that they are better than women. They think that they can be women better than women. So it's not just me. Look at the entire picture. You got a whole bunch of men trying to compete with women who are better, who can be better women, right? Oh, we better than you because we don't have menstrual cycles. He like mine better than you. That's them.
Oh, that's what they talking about.
That's yeah. See, you gotta.
Okay, well, you have a point.
Yeah, you gotta put your ear to the street, man.
Yeah. They have a point with that one.
Yeah.
But there are women that are transitioning to men. But I think it's just in our nature to be competitive. So we just ain't got nothing else to compete against. So now it's women that, okay, I'm transitioning to women. Y'all my competition now. Yeah. But I think that's them. Like,
no, they even got it in research papers. If you go to PubMed, there's an article or a research paper called The Fragile Male. And at the very end, in the conclusion of that research paper, it says, maybe competition for women has been replaced with competition with women. Everybody can see that men in competition with women. The scientists see it. The scientists see it. The women see it.
No. I just can't go for that.
Well, but see, you know what? How much money you make?
6 figures.
Okay. How many men, black men specifically, are in that tax bracket?
Not a lot.
Okay. So do you think that those men have the same vantage point that you have?
No.
Okay. So as a 6-figure guy, you shouldn't be saying what ain't happening at the middle and the bottom of the hierarchy or the pyramid hierarchy, because you live 2 totally different experiences. You have 2 totally different tax brackets, and your mindsets are 2 totally different mindsets. So how can you, who have to, you're reading books, we have talk about books that you're reading, your behavior, you got stuff going on. How can you say what ain't happening with people who broke and who ain't making nothing and who can't seem to get attention? Because the male is dying for attention, right? They ain't got no money.
You think men want more attention than women?
Absolutely.
Just continue.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Have you read not Think and Grow Rich, but have you read How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie?
I ain't done.
You ain't done?
Mm-mm.
You read it though?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, how far are you in the book?
First couple pages.
Okay, well, when you read 30 pages in, 30, when you get to chapter 2, let me know what it say in chapter 2 about men, because that book is about men. It ain't about women. Mm-hmm. That's a book about men. And every psychologist, whether it's Sigmund Freud, it mentions a guy named John Dewey, they all talk about how men need to feel important. The need and drive to feel important drives you for seeking attention. Right? Mm-mm. Yeah. Because you know what? Y'all's biological makeup, your ultimate biological drive is to pass your genes along. And in order to do that, y'all got to compete with each other for the woman's attention. So from the peacock having the most beautiful, from the most beautiful feathers trying to get the female's attention, men stepping up, arguing with each other, fighting against each other just to get women's attention. That's in y'all's nature. And guess what? If you don't have a purpose as a man that's so much higher than just getting sex, guess what? You will stay trying to get attention. And all these dudes talk about is women all day just to get what? Attention. And if they don't get it, they pissed off. They mad. That's the reason why you got a crisis of single lonely men now.
Well, let's say this. Let's say that both men and women need attention. If you look at the internet, let's look at it for both sides. Men, we show off our things. We show off how we live. Women show off their bodies, their things, their lifestyle, their new man. So we're both seeking attention.
Is that organic or is that manufactured?
On the woman's side?
No, on both sides. Because what you just talked about is a result of a manufactured behavior pattern. Right?
Mm-hmm. So, but you just said that it's in our DNA.
No, that's not in your DNA to show off cars and stuff, because cars is not biological. Cars is not. So
anything that we have.
Well, no.
The work, the fruits of our labor.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you have to go back to what's natural and what's unnatural, because we all live in an artificial environment. And so through this artificial environment, with programming, through marketing, through advertising and all of this stuff to keep people tuned in to unnatural things, it shapes their behavior, because you're putting unnatural stuff into their psychology, which motivates them to behave a certain way. Right? This is not organic. This is manufactured. So yes, in a manufactured, inorganic environment, yes, that is the behavioral pattern. When you take that away and you fix people's psychology and you put them in line with what they're natural, you see the behavioral patterns are different, right? So,
but we can't even say the same thing about women. Nothing is manufactured about a woman showing off her body.
Yeah, it is, because you know what? You can't say that if you have the Sukianas, the Sexy Reds, and all of this influence in people's behaviors, because you look back 50 years and you look here now, there's a difference in the behavior.
Difference in everything.
Yeah. Okay. And what is that difference? That difference is based on the societal programming or the social engineering. Mm-hmm. So you take that away and you put people in a natural, organic environment, and what would the behavior be? What you will find that the behavior would be totally different, because you would have too many things that you would have to do. You would be growing your own food. You would actually be creating things. So you would have less focus on acting like animals, pretty much, right? Mm-hmm. Right. The problem is that humans don't have nothing else to do. You're not growing your food. Everything is given to you. So now you take all that energy, and then you just behave the way society tells you to behave. So then you have a lot of men who don't have anything to do. So they don't have anywhere to disperse their sexual energy. So it's all building up. Some of them go play sports. Others drain all of their energy on sexual encounters, because they have access to sex that they would not have in a natural environment. Some of them play video games. It's a lot of unnatural things that's taking place because of this environmental creation. Mm-hmm. If you understand what I'm saying. So my job as a woman is you can't fix men. You just can't fix men. You can't teach them nothing. They're going to do what they're going to do. But you can teach women. So I don't focus on women. I don't focus on men. Mm-hmm. I focus on changing women's mind and women's behavior, and I get them to focus on things like their talents, education, and creating businesses and stuff like that, so that they can transmute their energy to be of value to society and not of value to a male gaze. Right? Because that's the problem with society. Everybody's focusing on feeding the attention to the male to make him feel important, needed, and everything is going to shit right now because of it.
I think that we need to feel important and needed in order for the world to run. Because if there's no man, if we don't get that energy, if we don't get that feeling, then we lose our drive. And if we don't have a drive, then the world doesn't operate the same. Women can't run this world.
Oh, you can, because let me tell you what run the world. The mind runs the world, not the physical labor. Mm-hmm. And males are only physical labor. There's a mind behind what the male is doing, and nobody talks about where that mind comes from. But you reading the book. You reading a book right now that got all of that information in it right there.
It says a woman?
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, it does. In several different places in that book, right? So the thing of the matter is that mental work has always been more strenuous than physical labor. We've been hearing that since we were children, right? The male is nothing but the the masculine counterpart. He's the doer, right? But there is a mind, that's slave labor, right? Manual labor. There is a mind that controls all of that. So whatever the mind can conceive and bring itself to believe, it can achieve, right? You think of the plan and then you tell somebody to do it. Just because a person went and done what you thought about don't mean that they own it. The person who created it in their mind is the owner of the idea, right? And so everything that comes from that creative space, the feminine is that creative space, if you know anything about psychology.
Not the woman, just the feminine.
The feminine, but the woman is the feminine vessel on the planet. So a lot of this stuff originated with women. Now we know as Black folks that white folks had a history of taking their creations, right? For some reason, we don't think that men have done that to women. Men have taken a lot of stuff from women and then put their name on it, right? And so,
like what?
The DNA helix, right?
Tap that in.
Yeah, Watson and Crick, right? Watson and Crick did not discover the DNA helix, right? But what did they do? They took it from a woman and they put their name on it, right? And so Kevin Trudeau, which is somebody I used to listen to, he said his mentor told him, he said, Kevin, pioneering don't pay. White folks ain't never worried about creating stuff. They let other people create it. Necessity is the mother of invention. You put people in need, you put people at the bottom, and you force them to create. The people who are in need create. So the cotton gin was created by what? Slaves, because they needed an easier way to pick cotton, right? So necessity is the mother of invention. You put people in need and they create, and then the people at the top just come pick it off of them. Kevin, pioneering don't pay, right? So who we think created stuff ain't really created. They just took it and put their name on it, right? So they have a history of doing this, okay? So the creative mind is the feminine mind. The feminine vessel on the planet is the female body. So she is the original creator. And a lot of things began with the woman, and a lot of things people took and put their name on it, right? So
in these books, is it saying women or is it saying feminine?
No, it's saying women. It's saying women. It's in there, right? You'll see it. It's a distinction. I don't know which version of the book you got, but I recommend that you get the original complete text. Right?
The first version.
The very first version, right? The original.
That's the red and white one.
No, I don't know what color it is. I have the classic edition, which is black and gold.
Okay.
Yeah. So the fact of the matter is, it all points back to the feminine and the woman, right? And in that particular version of the book, it makes a very clear distinction between he and she, right? Him, her. So it talks a lot about he, him. When they want to mention women, they mention women, right? And you'll find out that it's a lot of stuff that was created by women that men took the credit for. They was behind.
I'm really interested in finding out.
Yeah.
I'm doubting it. I truly believe women are very, very powerful. But when I hear about, that the term feminine, all of us have feminine energy. All of us have masculine energy. So I'm trying to figure out the distinction. Is it the feminine energy in men which created things?
No, because it does not say feminine in the book. You have to read the book and pull all that stuff out of there. It's there. You just have to know what you're reading, right? Like I said, when they talk about men, it specifically say men. And when it wants to mention a woman, it specifically says woman. There's a story in that book that talks about a guy getting an executive position. But the only reason that he got that executive position is because his mother built his entire resume and did all of the marketing. But he got the credit for being this prestigious guy, but his mama was behind all of it. That's why they say behind every great man is a greater woman, right? Because it's the woman doing all this stuff. It's the woman running everything. It's the woman feeding the male with a lot of ideas. But he don't give her no credit. He takes it all and then turns around and be like, what you bring to the table, what you did, I created this, wrong. Women are behind everything that men do.
I think in history it was like that, but nowadays we have a different manufactured society. So I hate to like make the argument, men versus women, because I really hate it, because I really adore and love women, and but what's the truth is, women these days are just not as they don't do what they used to do. They're not behind every man is a powerful woman. That's not the same.
Well, that's because the woman is out front of y'all now, because she doing her own thing. She's taking credit for.
Let's be serious now. Let's be serious.
Yeah.
It's not that many women just in front of us. It's a lot of more successful men than women. It's a lot of women that became more successful over the last decade, but we still in charge.
Well, look.
It's true.
From the 1960s up until now, where women were not even allowed to go to Ivy League schools. Right? You gotta keep this in mind, because there was a period in time where women were strategically kept out of all of that. They couldn't get bank accounts. They couldn't get a loan. They couldn't do anything. So you know that, right? When you lifted the floodgates up and allowed women have far surpassed men, like in education, getting businesses, and they are on the uptick while men are falling behind. It's the same thing. It's the same thing when we came out of segregation. You gotta believe it.
Because okay, if you're talking about from 1960 when the floodgates opened, well, when did the floodgates open? Ladies? For women, 74.
74.
That's 40 years. 50 years. 50 years. Okay, well, why y'all not in the front now? Like, why y'all not surpass the man? Y'all had 50 years.
50 years as opposed to what? How many centuries?
If y'all the most powerful.
Hold on. Rome wasn't built in a day. Everything takes time. So you can see that just in 50 years, 40 years, 50 years, that there has been a massive uptick in women obtaining businesses, degrees, high professional degrees, right? So they're moving at a pace that is far past what men are moving on their own, right? So you're talking about women taking over STEM. Now, what you didn't even realize is that statistics show that women are smarter than men in STEM, but the only reason that they're not showing is because they have voluntarily pretty much stayed out of it just to let y'all win in something, pretty much. But
win
when you,
something.
so men have to force women to hold back in order for them to inorganically beat women, right? And I don't even understand why it's about a beating thing, because at the end of the day, it's really just about production. Let's produce something. Let's get the job done. Who's best qualified? That's not how men operate. They look at women achieving and they hate to see women achieving. They hate to see it.
I don't think so.
Yeah, it's the truth though.
I don't think so.
It's the truth, man.
How many women billionaires are out there?
I looked at that map. I think on that map that I saw was 4 on the map, because they showed a map of billionaires in each state, and I'm trying to remember. I think I saw about 4, but they was all white women. Here's the thing: all these billionaires are all white folks. Okay, so we got two Negroes sitting up here talking about white folks running the world and having most of the money. I mean, because that's just the bottom line. So let me put it like this. Nikola Tesla in 1924 said the greatest fear that they was having back then is women taking over men's quote unquote place and far surpassing them. Men have been insecure about this for a little bit over a century now, right? Now you got Nikola Tesla, who's the brainchild of a lot of creations, and he up here scared about women beating men in industry and outperforming men, right? And so if you have him having this fear, what you think the dude sitting on this couch that can't do nothing think, right? Men every day try to convince women that they need them. Oh, we don't want no woman that got an education. We don't want no woman that, somebody just posted a guy like, once you buy a house, ladies, you are disqualified from dating. You are undateable once you buy a house.
Who said that dumbass shit?
Some dude, and guess what? It's a whole bunch of dudes agreeing with it, right? So they don't want women to achieve, because if you do anything that puts them in the mind frame that they can't manipulate you to get their needs met, men don't like independent women. They keep saying this. Kevin Samuels made his whole thing about women not being desirable after they become six-figure earners and all of that stuff. No man wants an independent woman. Well, who think like that? Men that don't have nothing going for themselves, who in a competition mentality with women, right? Men need women to be broke so that they can feel like they need it or something. That's just the bottom line. It's unfortunate.
Yeah. I'm not a debater. You got this conversation. You got this.
Didn't y'all just have a conference though? What did y'all tell these dudes in the man-to-man conference? What you tell them?
It wasn't nothing about women.
No, I know, but it's something about being better.
It was just about helping guys understand their true value, being around other men that's successful, that they can look up to, just to motivate them, just to inspire them. Mm-hmm. So it was just like a manly meetup.
Mm-hmm. And what you tell them about sex and it being their downfall?
Oh, we didn't talk about sex. I mean,
you got to, because that's a male problem. So how y'all have a male conference and not tell them about their weakness?
Well, God made us this way.
Yeah.
It's in our nature.
Yeah.
But we do have to have control over it. I mean, I understand. In the position I'm in life right now, I get a lot of women just throw themselves at me. Mm-hmm. And it's a distraction. And if I don't have control over it, it can consume my life and take over. Like I couldn't even build this podcast focusing on women. Mm-hmm. Having this podcast makes me deal with a lot of women. Having this podcast makes me attractive to a lot of women. And that causes me to have a lot of sex. Mm-hmm. And then when I'm in that state, it's two different me's. Like when I'm not having sex, I am way more creative. Mm-hmm. I'm way more focused, hardworking. But when I'm fucking, I'm all over the place. Mm-hmm. All I'm thinking about is pussy, fucking, work come last. Mm-hmm. Which I got a weakness too. Yeah. That weak to sex?
No.
Yeah.
No, I'm not.
You said I'm not?
Yeah, no, I'm not. Like, yeah.
They is.
Yeah. Well, it depends on who you're talking about. Because women don't have the same issue y'all have. See, y'all got testosterone, and that's concentrated in your body 15 times more than that of women. So mentally, women have an issue, and biologically y'all have an issue, right? And it's much harder to control your biology than it is to control your psychology, right? So the reason I even asked you about that, because that's men's number one downfall. And if you don't have a vision, a purpose, sex becomes your vision and your purpose. Sex is not only used for quote unquote biological purpose, but y'all use it for stress relief. Well, guess what? Men can fall into stress relief real easy because life's so doggone hard for you, right? You got a lot of unrealistic expectations out here. And so it's so easy for the male to fall victim in multiple categories because of that, right? And so his conversation typically is about women all day long. And since they need that stress relief, he needs the woman's body to relieve himself in. He needs that woman to control. He needs to feel important. So the more access to women that males have, for some reason, makes them feel really important. This causes him to have a conversation that is so unproductive, right? That keeps the majority of them wallowing at a level. So when I talk to women about leveling up, it's not about leveling up to appeal to a male. It's about leveling up to appeal to herself and the community, right? And the issue that we're having is men are upset because they feel that they're losing access to sex and losing access to women because they do not want to find a higher purpose. And that's why I asked what you tell them about sex, because we can't talk to men without talking about their number one weakness, which is sex. They ain't gonna get no other purpose. And if they don't get no other purpose, sex and women is all they gonna talk about.
What are women's weaknesses?
Women's weakness is caring what other people think about them, specifically what society thinks, right? She listens too much to society tell her that she need a man, that she needs to build everything around what he cares about. Because she does that, her life goes to shit most of the time, right? Because men typically move the goalposts. You do what a man asks you to do. You end up with children that he typically abandoned you with, and you still trying to chase for validation from the world. So what I try to tell women to do is not care about what nobody think about you. Once women learn to care about what she thinks and not what everybody else thinks, then she can become successful. Because
that's the only weakness?
That's the number one weakness. That's her number one weakness, right? So changing that changes a whole bunch of stuff, right? You change your mindset and you change your reality, right?
Finding that very hard to believe.
No, that is
caring what other people think.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Society is literally focused on, it markets everything to women, right? Everything is marketed to women. Mm-hmm. People make their money off of women, right? Ain't nobody selling their stuff to men. Nobody. Nothing. Nobody selling to men.
Nothing.
Nothing. Maybe what? Maybe football. Maybe entertainment. Maybe OnlyFans. But when it comes to major products, hey, I sold cars for 3.5 years. The first thing they told us in sales is talk to the wife. Don't talk to the male. Talk to the wife. Everything is marketed to women. So low self-esteem, makeup, hair, the latest clothing, right? Everything is marketed to make the woman feel like total shit, right? So that she can go and try to make herself feel better. She's in competition with this person, that person. Oh, you have to be married to be worth anything. Everything is focused on telling women how to acquiesce to what everybody thinks about you. When women stop caring what people think, what society thinks about her relationship status, what society thinks about her having children and not having children, what society thinks about how her hair looks, or when she stopped caring about that and begin to care about what she wants out of life and can focus, then the world is at her feet. And then she can become successful. But she got to start worrying about trying to be in a relationship because people tell her she have to be married to have any value.
I think the real problem is society. Television, the news, promotion, everything, the internet. it's society. Like it's, of course, we have, natural things, natural issues that we just got to deal with. But majority of the stuff comes from what we see, what we hear, and if you constantly, just like you said, you got things that's coming at women that makes them feel like they need to have weave and makeup and all this extra shit, and then men, we feel like. The thought that came to my mind when you was speaking about that, I was thinking like, okay, well maybe men go through all this shit because naturally we maybe not supposed to be in this position. Maybe we're not supposed to be the leaders of the world. Maybe let the women go ahead and do what they're naturally supposed to do and run this world, and we supposed to do what?
No, you're actually right. Okay, so the natural way, because put it like this, nature is the path of least resistance. Right? That's the path of least resistance. When you go anti-nature, you have to fight against how you naturally want to do stuff. So if you sleepy, it's easy to go to sleep if you sleepy. It's hard as hell to stay up when you dead tired, right? It's hard to do everything that's anti-nature. So the reason why relationships are so hard, marriages are so hard, because they're not natural. You have to force things. You have to create law and all these things.
You said marriage is not natural?
No, it's not. None of these things are natural, right?
What is it supposed to be?
What it's supposed to be? Hey, hi, how you doing? See you later, right?
Hey, let's have a child.
Yeah,
see you later.
Yeah, that's pretty much it is. So you have to force people to stay together when they don't want to stay together, right? You have to force people to stay in the room with each other when they want to leave, right? You have to force people to tolerate things that make them unhappy and unsatisfied against what they naturally want to do. So the point of the matter is, what I'm saying is that the reason why this world is messed up is because there have been artificial laws, artificial barriers to force people to behave in ways that are not natural. And the more that people keep doing that, the more dysfunction you create. So unnaturally, men have been put in a position that they were not naturally meant to occupy, right? Which is the reason why men are struggling so hard. They can't do it. And then women are being told to pull yourself back and don't overachieve. Don't achieve. This is unnatural. The natural way would be to allow people to be all that they were created to be, to shoot for the stars. Women are told not to shoot for the stars. They're told not to achieve so that the male can by default. And then he has so much pressure on him that you have to do things better and more efficient than women. And women have to stop themselves from doing more than you. So that tells you off the rip that it is totally unnatural. If you put things back in natural order, you will watch things fall back in line the way they should fall in line. And so men are the natural helpmeets, not the women.
Yo, listen, niggas hate me for this, right? Niggas gonna hate me for this, right?
Yeah.
I honestly believe women were here first. If we go back to the Bible, and they said that they created the woman from the man's rib to be the helper. I truly believe, and it's just how I feel. I feel like women were here first, and they needed a protector. And God put men on this world to protect and to build this world up, protect the women. That's how I honestly feel. I feel like women don't in the past, women didn't need men to create. You were correct. You're correct. And I really believe that we are the weaker. We are the weaker beings. But niggas hate to hear it. They hate to hear it, and it's all scientifically proven. But we're going based off of like size. We're basing it off muscle. We're basing it off like what we can do. Right. The world ain't created off of muscle. It's not. It's based off of creativity. It's created off of creativity. And that creativity is what? The feminine. Software, and that's feminine. Everything soft is feminine. They gonna hate me. I'm sorry, but it's the truth. You know what I'm saying? So XX
is the biological norm. The Y chromosome is missing 1,396 genes that are from the original.
How she know this?
Yeah, from the original 1,430 something genes. The Y chromosome is missing a lot. So it's
Who the Y? We
no,
is?
yes, the male is.
Oh,
right?
we listen.
Yes, and, so what you start with is you start with something whole and then you take away, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the female body, it starts with breast and all of that. The male, you take away things from the feminine, right? So you don't have nipple, you don't have breasts. We started with breasts, now you don't have any. You take away. It's not start with you and then add to. Yeah, it's start with here and take away.
Well.
Yeah,
I was gonna say, what about the penis then?
Well,
because y'all ain't got nothing, and niggas just added some shit.
Well, no, that dropped out because
it dropped.
Yeah, it dropped. Yeah, so your organs are practically the female organs like reshaped, right? and they dropped out.
It came down.
Yeah, it came down. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So
why couldn't it just go up?
Because that ain't the way it is. That ain't the way it is. Even if you look at a fetus, you know what I'm saying? The fetus before it drops out, it's female. It's shaped female, and then it drops down. That's how it is. So, but like I say, XX is the biological norm, and the male is the masculine counterpart on the physical plane. So y'all are like what I say is a power cord. You all have electricity, right? Your phallus, right? Your life force energy is concentrated in your phallus. The kundalini energy, sexual energy is concentrated in your phallus. And you're basically like a power cord. This whole production, the lights, the TV, the cameras, those are all feminine devices.
All women. We just come in.
That's it. That's it.
Well, we all important. So.
Yeah. But the male don't want to play his role. The power cord wants to be the camera. This is what's happening. The power cord is trying to convince everybody that he can function like the camera, and he's failing.
Well, and then the lights, they want to be the power cord.
Right. And why did that happen? Through society, through a massive brainwashing technique. You know what I'm saying? And so I have to teach women who they are, because women should be working together, and you don't have to be the same. You can be different feminine devices. And once you all commune, because women are naturally communal, when you work together, you create a production, right? Mm-hmm. And so I typically teach them through language, right? So we start off with the word produce, right? Produce. When you go to the grocery store, and you want fruits and vegetables, you go to the produce department, right? Fruits is what? Fruits are tree ovaries. Ovaries only come on what? Females, right?
Fruits are tree ovaries.
Yes. Did you know that? Fruits, the fruits that you eat, they're tree ovaries. That's what they are, right? And they have seeds inside of them, right? So men don't even have seeds. Y'all got fertilizer. Seeds come from women, right? You eat the fruit, and then you plant the seed back into the earth, and you water it, right? So the feminine is the nurture of life, right? So planet Earth is Mother Earth, Mother Nature. Water is feminine. It's a feminine element, okay? And the seeds or the fruit of life, which comes off of trees, which is tree ovaries, you replant those, and you water those, and it grows life again. So all life comes from the feminine. All the time. It doesn't matter if it's a mental creation or a physical creation. All life comes from the feminine. So produce, then you have producer, all right? When you have a producer in ecology, what you have is a producer, primary consumer, secondary consumer, and a tertiary consumer, right? The producer is Mother Earth, right? And the primary consumer eats directly off of Mother Earth. So the producer is feminine. Then you have production. All of these words go hand in hand. Production. when you have these feminine devices working with each other, you create a production. So producer, and production is all about femininity.
Let's like reset, right?
Yeah.
Let's put two people in a room, male and female, and if there was nobody else in this world, naturally, the man is gonna go get the food, hunt, build. The woman is gonna do what? Naturally.
That's not naturally true. Naturally what's true is when people need, they're gonna get back into their nature and they will nurture planet Earth, right?
Look, I'm just talking about the two people.
Yeah, that's what they would do. That's what they would do. When you look back, women did a lot of the hunting. Women did a lot of the planting, foraging for food. Women did a lot of
what
stuff.
the men do?
Huh? Well, women taught them. The women.
Well, while the woman was hunting and doing all this shit.
Yeah, men had to do it too. But the men learned from the women, is what I'm saying. They were taught by the mother or the grandmother, right? So men are not naturally doing things besides killing. Yeah, they kill, but you got to teach them how to do things strategically. You have to teach them how to do things. So yeah, you have some people who have a natural talent in building. You have some who have a natural talent in building, but that's just not naturally in everybody to just build. So what I'm saying is you have people who can build. You have different talents. So what I'm saying is it's not it's not a either or. Only men do this, only women do that. It's not that. Whoever has the skill will end up doing those things.
I'm just talking about like natural gender roles. If women are naturally supposed to run this world, naturally, what are we doing in the times where it's just me and another woman and we know nothing of this world? There's nothing distracting us, nothing brainwashing us. Naturally, I would feel that I, as a man, is going to go out and provide. Women are not providers, correct?
False. Let's take it. The producer is the provider, right? Let's go to ecology, okay? Ecology. The producer is Mother Earth. That come from, so the feminine always produce. Well, whoever produces is the provider, right? So Mother Earth provides the nutrients for you, okay? When you come out the womb, the first thing you go to is what produces milk. The producer, your life is sustained off the woman. So the woman naturally, if women were here first, that tells you that the original producer and the original provider is a woman, right? So women were already providing. You can't be here without somebody providing you sustenance, right? And that comes from the woman, not the father or not the male. So when you put two people in an environment, the brain is going to say, hey, this is what you need. And people are going to do what they have to do to survive, right? It's not going to be, well, my gender role is this, your gender role is that. People are going to do what they need to survive. And the woman is not somebody just sitting on her tail doing nothing. She's doing. Because it's in her nature to do. It's in her nature to provide for her young, even when the male ain't around.
So what is, okay, as the society starts growing, we go to 2 people to 10 people to 20 people to 100. At some point, some roles are going to just put in place, not just to survive, but just to live, just to be. If women are the producers, then what are the men doing?
Well,
what are we here to do?
Well, by nature, here's the thing. By nature, y'all like to kill. You know, this is by nature.
Animals?
Yes.
People?
Yeah, but animals and people, right? That's the male nature. So the male needs governance, right? So what you would have to have is a society that is clearly divided between two, right? You would have to have a male a quote unquote alpha male who can control all of the other males, okay? And he would tell them what they need to do. And he would get his guidance from the feminine, which you would call the oracles, or whoever would pass that information down to him. And then he would control the men to tell them what they needed to do. That's typical. That's how the information would flow. So you have, let's say you have 20 people and you have 10 women and 10 men. The women would be in their own quarters, helping each other come up with the plans, fixing, the home or whatever. She would pass whatever information that they needed, the plans, the architectural plans, or whatever the case may be down to the head male. And he would control those males and get them to do what those plans say do. Because most dudes, they're not thinkers. They're doers. You have to tell them what to do, but they ain't going to listen to no woman. They'll listen to a male who they're afraid of, but they're not going to listen to no woman. So that woman passes down that information to a male who respects the feminine, and then they control the rest of them. That's just how that would go. It's the same thing in the military. You have the board, you have, the board where you have all of the 5-star generals, 4-star commanders, and all of that.
Mostly men.
Yeah. Well, in the military, right? The mastermind, right? They control the soldiers, the foot soldiers, right? The mastermind is the feminine mind, right? That you combine together, right? And so when you go back at the end of the day, in ancient times, the oracles was the masterminds. The oracles were feminine, right? And they gave men the wisdom. When the men went on their little hero's journey, they came and they got information from the oracles. And they went and lived their lives. Or they went and battled whatever they had to battle, right? But that's what we have to recreate. But you can't do that if you're telling people to be stupid. If you're telling people we don't care about education because you think sex matters more than a mastered mind, right? So the key is to get women back in line to what their nature says. Allow women. There's a reason why scientific studies keep showing that girls do better in classroom settings and males do better out in the field, right? There's a reason for that, because the true mastermind is with women. But we're trying to stop women from achieving mentally. And we're trying to give this to males, and they're failing. This is why Dr. Umar Johnson out here keep talking, we need a school for boys. They're not retarded. You keep forcing boys into a classroom setting. That ain't how they operate. They're not the mind. The woman is the mind. Right? And we need to let her be the mind. That's how we fix society. That's how we fix society. But no, everybody want women to just be inanimate objects that look good.
If women ran the world, it'd probably be a better place.
It would be.
It wouldn't be any wars. Or maybe not as many wars.
Right.
Men want power. It's never enough power, never enough money. You might be on to something. I'm just a listener, I'm just taking the information so I can go back, put all the stuff together and be like, you know what, this is bullshit.
Yeah, but it's the truth, because the male ego, the male is trapped in ego. He can't overcome that. And the highest level male is a male who has integrated the feminine counterpart to become a whole version of himself. And you know how much effort, you're a male, you know how much effort that takes to overcome sex, the sex urge, to overcome selfishness, to overcome greed, gluttony. You know it because you're a male, right? And that takes so much effort that the average male ain't even willing to do it. You know why? Because men operate based on consequence and reward. And if you reward a male for whatever he's doing, he ain't gonna do no better, right? He ain't gonna do no better. So to put power in a person's hands who cannot overcome the lower nature is total destruction. It's total destruction because it ain't never enough. And the bigger the ego, the ego can get big, 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 and big. And guess what? It'll never not be about self. To be a leader, you have to be selfless. It's about selfless service. The male don't want to serve nobody but himself, right? He doesn't care about the welfare of other people.
Why are you so against?
It's not about that. It's about saying what it is, calling a spade, because here's the thing. How can you change the world if you don't say what is? The fact of the matter is, we live in a male-dominated society. And in order for you to figure out how to fix society, you got to be able to call things as they are. And the male, the reality is, the male don't like hearing about who he is from a woman. See, y'all can say this to each other and be joking and laughing and know it be true. But the moment a woman say it about it, it's something that just shatters, because y'all want women to see y'all as these great men. You don't want women to call out the truth about y'all as males.
But what about the woman?
It ain't about the woman. It's not about the woman.
All I heard was man.
Yes, because men are running everything. And if we're going to change women's behavior, everybody say women need to change. Everybody blames women for everything. It's the woman's fault. She won't keep her legs closed, this, that, and the other one. Why? It ain't because of her, because at the end of the day, it is because of society and the lies that women have been told about who they are as women and who men are as men. Everybody has been lied to. We live in an upside down reality. So in order for women to change their behavioral patterns, you have to know the truth. You have to know what is. You have to know, because everything is centered around men. And everything is based on a lie. So the truth will set you free. Since we live in a male-dominated society that's male-centered, we need the truth about men. Because if you don't get the truth about men, women will never know who they are and they will not change their behavior. This is not about what women's supposed to do. It's about how women should change how they view and perceive men. And only then will the woman be able to look at herself and say, dang, I've been bamboozled. Dang, I've been messed up. Dang, I made the bad decision. That's the only way it's going to happen. That's the only way it's going to happen. So we can't have our cake and eat it too. We can't say the woman need to change, but then keep telling women lies, right? The male going to have to hurt his ego and let the woman know the truth, right? Because only then will she change her behavior.
Wish I could clap for that. That was great.
Yeah. I'll do it for you, Finesse.
How many women do you have a community?
Yes.
How many women are in this community?
Well, let's see. I have 73,000 subscribers. 95% of them are female, right? And my email list is 97% female, and my response rates or my engagement is really high. So I'm changing a lot of lives all around the globe, right? So I'm not just U.S., I'm literally global. So I have women in Saudi Arabia who purchased my book. I have a book called 41 Shades of Men, The Pursuit to Subdue and Use You. So I have a lot of people, a lot of women in the UK, from the Ukraine, all over Africa, that are tuned into my message, and their lives have changed drastically. They have made very different decisions after learning the truth about men, right? It's not about hating men. It's just about knowing who y'all are and what y'all are not capable of. Because if men keep getting rewarded for their behavior, they're not gonna change, right? And the biggest reward to a man is a woman, right? So my mentor, when I was 16, but he told me back in 2015, Priscilla, women need to stop sleeping with men. They need to stop sleeping because they're not gonna change. They're not gonna change. women need to stop sleeping with men. And I tried to fight him on that back then. Then I came to the conclusion, no, you're absolutely right. Women need to stop sleeping with men. But you can't just tell women to stop sleeping with men, because if we know how human behavior works, humans are not logical creatures, they're emotional creatures. So you have to you have to change how they feel about something to change how they move. It's not telling a woman, keep your legs closed or don't answer the phone when he calls. If women keep that same programming, they're going to be trying to use willpower. They're going to rely on willpower to try to get them to behave a certain way. And willpower only lasts so long before it fails, right? Because you have to put in effort. But if you change the program and make it automatic by changing how they feel about something, then their behavioral patterns follow. So what I've done is changed how women feel based on the truth about men, and it becomes easy and effortless for women to be like, nope, I'm not talking to this guy. Nope, I'm closing my legs. And that's just the bottom line.
What is the message?
In regards to what?
What are you telling women?
What I tell women?
What's the main message?
Well, the main message is men are incapable of love.
That's the main message.
That's the main message, right?
No man.
No man. No man.
No.
Men are capable of caring about you, but they're not capable of love.
Love, like, come on now.
Well, you have to ask, what is love? You would have to ask, what is love, right? Most people don't know what love is. They think it's an emotion. So as soon as I say men are incapable of love, they instantly go, men have feelings too. Men can love. Wrong. Love is not an emotion. If love was an emotion, how could you love somebody when you're pissed off at them? Because two emotions can't exist at the same time. Light and dark can't occupy the same space. How could you be jealous of somebody and love them, right? How could you be angry at somebody and love them, right? How could you love somebody after they've taken your only child's life, right? Okay. That in and of itself tells you that love is not an emotion, because in order to love somebody, when you're angry, you have to go against your natural emotive patterns. You have to go against your natural instincts. To go against nature, what did I tell you? It's unnatural. So love is not a natural thing. Love is something that you have to try to do, right? You have to make a decision to work in the opposite direction of how somebody make you feel. So love is not a feeling. I just told you that it's hard for a male to overcome his impediment of sex. That take a lot of work just to control that. It takes a lot of effort just to be something in life for a male. To go against all of that and then turn around and tell a male to go in the pattern, the opposite direction, which would require you to work to quote unquote love, the male ain't finna put in that much effort, right? So I wrote a book called The 5 Components of Love. Love is made up of 5 elements, and all 5 elements have to be in play before you can say it's love. The very first component is seek first understanding, and then ye be understood. To understand something requires a lot of effort, a whole lot of effort. The male does not want to understand nobody but himself, okay?
Okay.
He don't, right? Without understanding, none of the other components matter. Men do not even care about how women feel or what women think. Men only care about what they can get out of a woman and what they want from a woman. That is the truth, right? Women do all this talking, and men will let you know, we don't want to hear what a woman, blah, 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 blah. If a person letting you know that blah, 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 what you got to say don't mean shit to them, how they gonna love you? How they gonna even know anything about you if you don't even listen to a person to understand what they're talking about, right? But that requires effort. A person who ain't having sex and he wants sex from you, right? he has very little interest in trying to understand you because his mind is focused on sex, right? If it takes all of this energy just to overcome sex, effort, and what's the reward? Because men are based on consequence and reward. What is the reward for overcoming sex and controlling your sex drive? What's the reward for going in the direction of being socially acceptable? If you can't get the woman that you want, you can't get the money. What is the reward for going through the 5 components of love with somebody? Overcoming all of that and having to control yourself with willpower every day, which I told you is very faulty. It requires so much energy. What's the reward? Ain't no damn reward. And if a male if a male cannot quantify what he can get out of something, he's not gonna put the effort in. What's the reward for loving somebody?
Well, let's figure out what love is.
Mm-hmm.
We got 4 other components.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What are those?
Okay. The second component is appreciation and compassion.
Men ain't got that.
Well, here's the thing. You can't have appreciation or compassion for something that you don't understand. So if you don't seek first understanding, the second component don't even matter because you ain't going to get there. The third component don't matter because you ain't going to get there. Fourth component or the fifth component don't matter. You're not going to do none of the other 4 components if you don't do the first one. And since men, by far and large, are failing, they failing in so many different parts of life, what is the reward for sitting there to seek first understanding of a woman? What's the reward? What's the reward of appreciating and having compassion for a woman? What's the reward to sacrifice anything for her?
Is that the third one?
That's the third one, yeah. What's the reward to ensure the survival of somebody that you ain't even fucking? What's the reward? Men are consequence and reward driven. What's the reward for being willing to give your life for somebody? What's the reward?
Nothing.
So with all of these impediments, and I ain't even talked about the brain wiring. I'm just talking about overcoming sex and controlling yourself just to fit in to society. That's already hard for the male to do. You're going to do all of this and then have to go up this additional ladder for what reward? Ain't nothing in it for the male. In his mind, there's nothing in it. It's not $1 million there. It's not this Kim Kardashian looking chick that he gets to screw that ain't there. So what's the point of sitting there listening to a woman go on and on and on about her life story and all of this when we already know men have short attention spans? We know that men don't even really like to hear the sound of a woman's voice going on too long, right? It irritates him. What's the reward for that? Ain't no reward for that. How long can he sustain willpower to even climb this ladder? He can't. He'll fail. So if he's not doing this, if he's not putting all this energy in to run a business, if he's not putting all this energy in to take care of his own kids, if he ain't putting all this energy in to be at the top of society, why would he put all this energy in to go through the 5 components of love? He's going to fail. It's not easy for him. It takes so much effort to do that. He don't give birth. So he's not predisposed to doing it effortlessly. He got to put all of his energy into doing this. And he's going to fail.
Yeah.
I mean, and so ain't nothing wrong with being incapable of love.
It is something wrong with that.
Well, not for the woman. The reason why men don't like it is because you know why? Men use love. Men use love as a manipulative tool to get women to give up everything that he wants from her. If she stopped believing in love, if she stopped believing men are capable of love, women wouldn't be giving a lot of these dudes nothing. They'll leave them. They will not tolerate the cheating. They will not tolerate any of the negative stuff he does. And she will not sit there and let him do it. She would leave. And he knows that. The men know they're not capable of love. That's the reason why they say we don't love like a woman love. That's the reason why they say that.
It's just different.
No,
it's a different type of love.
Ain't no different.
It is. I feel like we can't love.
No, you can't.
I feel like, it's perfect examples out here. Men are loving women. It's just a big percentage of men that are lost. And what I think is that society manipulated love and marriage. Like, I don't believe in marriage. I don't believe it's a natural thing. They just made this shit up.
I agree with you.
And what we think is love, what they portray on TV and what we think that we have to do, I think is just some shit that we just, all men can't live up to. We can't live up to the idea of, having this one woman and creating this family, and we're forcing ourselves to do that. Like, it's an unnatural thing.
Right.
So let's not say like we're incapable of love. We're incapable of what society made love to be.
What did they make love to be?
That ideal picture, that relationships, being with this one woman, not the components, all that matters. Yeah. Understanding, protecting. I can't remember all of them.
Yeah, don't worry about it. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, what was I saying?
you were saying this picture.
Yes. Like, that picture, like, we feel like we gotta get in a relationship, and in multiple relationships. We have to get to know a woman, love her, to fall out of this love, to find someone else. That's bullshit. I really feel like, if that was taken out the equation, we should just be loving people. Like, it shouldn't be like a fucking, hold on. It shouldn't be like, damn, what's the word? Fuck. That's what I mean. But I can love. I've been in love. I love women. So when I'm hearing this stuff, I'm like, nah, that don't make sense to me. It don't make sense to me.
What is love? When you say you love women, tell me, what is that?
It's a connection.
What's the connection?
It's just a connection. That's strong, a very strong connection between two people.
Okay.
That's it.
That's chemical.
Yep. Right. Chemistry.
Right. Well, chemicals are not love, right? Chemicals.
Well, actually, what love is, you ain't tell me what love is.
I did.
You gave me the components.
I gave you the components, right? So I would tell you this: love is selfless intent.
Selfless intent.
So no man is going to a woman with a selfless motive.
Some people, yeah.
No, he's not going to her with a selfless motive.
You're not a man. You don't know.
I know, baby. I know men.
I am a man.
Because you just asked me before the cameras came. How you know that?
I asked you, but shit.
Yeah, because I was telling the truth.
It's some truth. There's a lot of truth to what you're saying.
Come on, you know it.
But some things just not adding up to me.
Listen, let me tell you something. First and foremost, the male is highly visual. Okay.
Yes.
And okay, so sex and quote unquote love come from the same place for y'all, right? When y'all quote unquote fall in love, y'all's visual processing unit is amplified. Yes, the brain. Yes, the brain scans show this.
Infatuation, sexual desire.
Hold on.
Not love.
Hold on. That's the reason why Greek males labeled it eros love. Eros love, which is eroticism, which is lust. That's a quote unquote form of love that comes out of the mind of a male, right? And why did the male say this? It's because when y'all look at something, your idea of love is attached to your phallus, right? Y'all, everything is about y'all Peter Whacker, right? Y'all see the world through your Peter Whacker, right?
Well, once we use the Peter Whacker, once we use this Peter Whacker and get our rocks off, like now we have this clarity. And for us to still make that decision to be with a woman, love a woman, build a future with a woman. That's nothing to do with visual or even sexual.
No, because that's something else. That's why I got the 41 Shades of Men, the pursuit to subdue and use you. Men will sleep with women that they don't even are not even visually or physically attracted to get other stuff out of her, right? Maybe he need his credit fixed, so he'll put a paper bag over her head and make it out. You know it's the truth.
There's truth to that. Yes, there's truth to that, but is that 100% true?
Look,
no.
41 Shades of Men. Look, listen, 41 Shades of Men. A dude need a place to stay. He'll screw her.
Yes.
Okay, right?
But it's no different from a woman. A woman needs somewhere to stay. She gonna deal with this 300, 400 pound man.
Yeah. But here's the thing: the only reason that's the truth is because society created artificial resources, shifted them into the power and control of males, and manipulated female nature. Because you know what female nature is? Resource dependency. So typically in nature, when females are fully rich in resources, they actually distance themselves from men. That's the reason why you hear women saying independent. You know what that means? Because when women get resources, they say, I don't need a man. You know that human females are not the only one to do it. Baby, the fruit fly do it. The elephants do it. The monkeys do it. They typically distance themselves from males when they have a lot of resources. So they have been studying female nature all this time. They took control over nature's resources, came up with a byproduct called fiat currency, and shifted that into the power and control of men and forced women to depend on men for their resources. So now you have a altered behavioral pattern called hypergamy, right? Mm-hmm. Which is a response to that unnatural stimuli, right? Of changing the environment. So now you have women who will do that because resources are scarce, but that ain't her nature. But that is the male's nature. Mm-hmm. That's his nature. So what I'm saying is that the nature of the male is not selfless at all. Every reason that he deals with a woman is one of them 41 shades. One of them 41 reasons whether he needs to use her as a manipulative piece to slide on some males, right? To send her in to set up a robbery or whatever. He'll use her for that. He'll use her to build his business. He'll use her to get next to her kids. Whatever. It's 41 different reasons that
use her to get next to her kids.
Yeah, because you had that guy is called the I want your child man, right? So this particular dude preys on women with children, right? That's what he do.
And he wants to molest them?
Yeah. So I teach women all of the different reasons men approach it. They ain't approaching you because they want to love you. Men are incapable of love, right? So there's another reason that he's dealing with you, and love ain't it. The moment that you stop serving that purpose, the male will stray. So a dude will get with the reason why men cheat. You know I ain't lying. The reason why men cheat most of the time is because you fulfill one need after he got you secured, because a bird in the hand is better than two in the bush. He's not going to uproot what he already got solid. So if you taking care of multiple needs, he not going to make you go nowhere, but he'll go cheat with you. If you don't get him head, he'll go find a fellatio girl, right? He'll go trick her into thinking that he want a relationship or whatever, and just be getting head from her while he keep you. He might go cheat on her with somebody else, right? The male just collect women for different needs, but none of
love ain't nan one of them.
Nah, love ain't nan one of them reasons. He needs something. The moment that the woman stop giving him what he needs, he gonna bounce and go somewhere else.
So there's no real love out here.
No.
Comes from both sides. Only women love?
Nobody's operating in love. Nobody's operating in love. I say men are incapable of love. Women are not incapable of love. They just not operating in love. But they are very capable. They're more than capable. Women were created to be love itself, right? She just not being in it because she is operating in codependency. So people who operate in codependency, they're looking for voids to be filled. So they can never love, right? because they get with people looking for holes for that person to complete them. And so they put a lot of demands, a lot of controls, because that person needs you to be something for them. And if you don't be what they need you to be, then you have relationship issues, right? So men need so much stuff from women. This is the reason why a man can't accept a woman for being her true self. The man has to tell her that I don't need you to do this. I need you to be this for me. The moment that woman stops being that, the moment he don't have no use for her anymore. That's codependency. True relationships are when you have two whole people together who don't need each other. They want to be with each other, but they don't need each other for anything, right? So that means you don't have demands on a person. You're not forcing them to be. That's the only way that love could ever exist, if it's going to exist. It's when you have people who are whole versions of themselves. People who are not whole versions of themselves, there's no possible way that they can love somebody because they need you to be something. And then if you're not that, they end up overcompensating and draining their life force energy, and they don't have enough energy to actually love, right? So because men need women, men need to make women feel that they need them. And women end up being cut down and suppressed from being their whole self just so that she could fit what a man needs. And nobody wins in that situation. She don't win for sure. He ends up draining her, and he never grows. He never becomes a whole version of himself, and he hops from woman to woman. That's how it goes. And that's the cycle. So if you want to break that cycle, you have to force the male to become somewhat whole. You have to force him to by not giving him anything. He'll either rise to the occasion, or like y'all's nature was designed to be, survival of the fittest, he'll either survive or die. He'll either level up or fall off the edge of the earth.
Your last marriage,
Mm-hmm.
how long did that last?
Well, I'm still technically married, but before I filed for divorce, 3 years.
Wait, you filed for divorce and it just haven't happened yet?
Yeah.
Did he cheat on you?
No.
What happened?
He was trying to suppress who I am, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it was a lot of control there that I didn't like, right? Because I always been a content creator. So when I met him, I let him know, hey, I create content. This is what I do. Everything was fine. And then once we got married, everything switched up. Like, he stopped wanting me to do what I love doing. Try to put demands on me there. My career ended up stopping because I used to drive trucks, right? And I ended up being a stay-at-home mom, right? And then when I wanted to do different businesses, it's like he didn't want to participate and work with me. So it was a lot of, so it was a lot of stuff that was anti who I am, that, there's no point in me continuing to go on with this.
Was it the same content?
No, it was something else. I was in the pro-black stuff at that point in time. But
that's where it stems from, pro-black.
Well,
like your dialogue, it seems like you studied history.
I studied history. Well, I have a background in cell and molecular biology, so I went to school for that. But I came in the conscious community when I was around 19, 20.
Why not stay on the conscious path versus?
Because it was BS. But here's the thing. Once you learn the truth, if I have a mind, if I think one way, you show me why my thinking is wrong, I'm going to change my mind. I'm not stubborn to the point where you give me true information and I reject it. So first and foremost, the conscious community is BS because it ain't pro-black, it's pro-black man, right? The core of the message is, in order to be pro-black, let's blame the black woman for everything. The black woman is the one that messed up the community. Really? That's the basis of pro-black, right? The black woman is the cause of the destruction of the community.
I never heard of that.
Yeah, that's what it's always been. Then number two, the black man felt like, oh, well, we can be pro-black and still date outside our race. That's it. He believes that. You know why he believes that? Because pro-black don't mean pro-black. It means pro-black man. So it's all about the men. It's it's a subculture of patriarchy, right? So it's like this is total BS. You have women on the front lines rallying for you, and it ain't the same. Vice versa, and it's just a bunch of BS. And so once I start seeing that, I say, oh no, I'm not on this train. You know what I'm saying? So I started to really go into fall back on my training in science, and I just started really understanding that the foundation of all life is scientific in nature, mathematical and scientific. It ain't none of this other philosophical stuff, right? All this stuff is man-made, right? And so the truth is rooted in that, and that's where I changed my mind, right? If you give me facts, I'm not dumb enough to keep believing something that's a lie, right? And the conscious community is a lie. You know, so that's that.
The conscious community.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know they had a community.
It ain't really no community, but yeah, it's just a bunch of individuals running around here saying it. But you know, they call it the conscious community. So,
how long you been dressing like this?
All my life.
Well, you had a husband?
Yeah. You see what I'm talking about? I can't be me.
Hey. I was just asking a question.
Yeah,
man.
but
just asking a question.
Yeah, this is who I am. Right? I dress how I feel like dress. Do I wear dresses? Yeah. Do I wear heels sometimes? Yeah. But this is what I feel most comfortable in. You know?
Okay.
Yeah.
I was just asking. I thought you might have, maybe when you transitioned over to women, that you just...
No, I played basketball. I played football. I ran track. I was in the military. I've been like this my whole life.
Men never had a problem?
No.
Never tried to change you?
No.
No?
No.
Your husband never tried to change you?
No. Just the content stuff.
Interesting.
Yeah. But that's what I'm saying. It's like everybody thinks that women should look a certain way for the male gaze, and it's just not. It's hard for you to understand that I'm not out here trying to look like a video vixen for women. I mean, for a male.
I think it's dope. I think it's dope that you want to express yourself exactly how you want to.
Yeah.
And don't give a fuck how people think about it.
Yeah. I mean,
even your partner.
Yeah, I think that's the best way to do it. Because if you don't accept me for who I am, what I'm with you for? So
before you liked women, did people try to say you were gay?
Yeah, people always been saying that, right? Even when I dealt with males, when I didn't even think about women in that way. The only reason why I even date women now is because I came to the conclusion that one, men are incapable of love.
We heard you.
Yeah,
heard you.
That's right. And two, that if I wanted any type of higher level connection, mental, spiritual, emotional, it wasn't coming from no man. I was gonna get it from a woman. And so I adore all things feminine, because feminine is the life giver. It is the life sustainer, and everything comes from that. All of these higher level attributes come from women. So I realized that everything that I wanted in a man were attributes of women. So why am I going to keep chasing a vessel that don't possess all of this? I'm not going to try to force you to possess it. I'm just going to get it from where it live at.
You don't miss anything about a man?
No. Because men were a headache, a pain in the ass.
Nothing from a man?
Not a damn thing. Nothing.
You don't like a masculine hug?
No, when I hugged men, they always ask me, why you hug me like that? Well, how did I hug them? I would always just pat them on the back like a baby.
All of them?
All of them. All of them.
That's not feminine at all.
It wasn't nothing. I guess it wasn't nothing energetically I liked about them, right? It wasn't like, oh, you just so everything that I want, man. I don't know. It's just, I don't know.
Are you feminine with men?
What does it mean to be feminine?
Soft.
What you mean soft? Like, because I'm a soft person, believe it or not.
Seems pretty hard to me.
Yeah, because we having a harsh conversation, right? But everybody got multiple sides.
Very true.
You're not privy to my sanctuary. You're not privy to how I am off camera,
Mm-hmm.
right? You're not privy to how I am when I'm in my house,
Mm-hmm.
right? I'm on camera, right? And
Mm-hmm.
as a person that's been trained in the military, as a person that has that speaks in front of people all the time, that's just a certain way I carry myself when I'm on camera and I'm in front of people, right? I don't give people access to who I am internally, right?
Mm-hmm.
You got to earn your way there. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So, with in the house, yeah, I cook, right?
You be crying.
No, I don't cry. Ain't nothing to cry about.
That's feminine right there, crying.
No.
Oh, it's weak?
Yeah, it's weak if you cry for nothing. I'm a happy person. What I'm gonna be crying for?
No, women just start crying for shit. Crying.
That's kind of true. Some of, and based on my experience, some of this
You just cry.
Some of it, yeah, some that's kind of true.
Like, why are you crying? It's not even a moment to cry. Just crying. But you don't cry.
No, I don't have nothing to cry about. No, I'm serious. I'm tough. I'm a tough cookie, yo. I'm serious. You know, I have been through a lot of stuff in life.
How many children do you have?
One.
Girl or boy?
Girl. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so, you know, I'm a pretty tough cookie. You got to do a lot to bring me down to my knees to have me crying.
What are you going to teach your daughter about men?
Exactly.
Men are, hey, listen, leave that nigga alone. He ain't capable of love.
No, I'm just.
Girl, he don't love you.
Yeah, I'm gonna teach her what I teach everybody else. She gonna learn. She gonna go through my workshop too, right?
Mm-hmm.
She gonna learn the science. She gonna learn who men are. You know, and don't ask. It's like don't ask men for something they ain't capable of. I expect you to not control yourself. I expect you to not have sexual discipline. I expect you to not take responsibility for nothing in life. My expectations of men are very low. I don't expect nothing. I have spent years believing that men could be something that they can't. Speaking life into them. Man, I'm not wasting my energy. I believe that the majority of men are not responsible for nothing. They're not even responsible for their own Peter Whackers. They ain't did nothing. I don't have no expectations from men.
I can't wait to post this shit. This shit is fucking gold, man. Going based off, you say it was 41 what?
41 Shades of Men.
41 Shades of Men. I wish I could read all of them right now.
Yeah.
But the one that you said about men dating women just, what was it? Dating them just for their kids or preying on their kids?
Yeah, that's called the I Want Your Child Man.
Because I've had several women on this couch that like spoke about being molested as a child. Mm-hmm. And the stories was just like, nigga, how could you? Mm-hmm. You know, a 12-year-old, a 9-year-old, and it was one woman that every boyfriend that her mom had looked at her a certain way or tried to touch her or some shit like that. Mm-hmm. And I'd be like, why the fuck would even men look at these little children? But you know, there's men that do that.
Yeah, because first and foremost, the male don't have an internal moral compass.
Let's like.
He don't.
God damn,
he don't.
Man.
The male doesn't have an internal moral compass. The male is visual, highly visual. So when you have developing children in front of them, here's the thing. The male goes off what the law say is legal. If you ask a male, will he sleep with a 16-year-old? Is she legal? If they move the age of consent down to 14, the male will go down to 14. If they move it down to 12, he will go down to 12. The male does not have an internal moral compass, and he will sleep with a child as young as possible.
Well, there are women that do the same thing.
When we're talking about males, I mean,
yeah, but I mean, it just seems like it's only the male here.
No, it's not. No. Here's the thing: there are females that will do it, but not at the rate that males will do it. Right? It's just not that. It's just that's just global knowledge, right?
Mm-hmm.
Age of consent laws ain't based on women, right? And then you can't blame women for what patriarchy set up women to do for men, because guess what? Who was out here talking about, hey, I'm gonna give my child a stripper? Boosie. How old was his son? What, 13, 14? Right? Men are handing out doggone condoms to boys as soon as they turn. You have one of these content creators blatantly saying, yeah, man, I smashed. He said, I bust my teacher down at 14. Wait a minute. It ain't the same. We don't have no problem with it. Men are clearly saying, hey, we don't have a problem. It's like a rites of passage for them, right? So men created a world for men, by men, and then they use women as tools in this world. And then they cultivate the males to knock down these adults, and then they try to blame the women. Hold on, right?
Blame the women.
Yeah. Blame the women for what you create, right? So it's like this. The males make the laws and they make the world just for men who claim that we built the world to claim that they're oppressed and not fair in their own world that they created, right? So when you look at the biology, the biological makeup of male, men are driven by the Peter whackers, right? That Peter whacker and visual processing unit, right? So you have this issue with males and sex and they ever pressing need that they seem to not be able to quench, and they all want young girls, and they bold enough to let you know we like them young, and they bold enough to let you know that if the age of consent laws move, they moving with the laws. So if the law go down to 10, they cool with sleeping with 10-year-olds. That's just the bottom line.
There was another lady on here that came on here and said her dad was 30 something and her mom was 13. Mm-hmm. And they're from Ethiopia. Mm-hmm. That's just their tradition, but I feel like what he said, she also said that they didn't sleep with each other until she was 16, 17 or something. Now, if we go back into history and think about, like, it's always been a thing until these laws was put in place. Like, men have always been seeking out younger women, and men still talk about it to this day. They enjoy younger women, and then it's like, I just seen some content the other day, mm-hmm. and it was talking about pedophiles, mm-hmm. and it used to be a thing. It used to be a thing that I think the sign said, "Men love young boys." Mm-hmm. Some white people shit back in like mm-hmm. 60s or some shit, but now it's like, okay, kind of cover it up. Mm-hmm. So it was men love little boys, and then they tried to push the homosexuality on just the black community. Mm-hmm. But now they hide the fact that they're pedophiles. Mm-hmm. They're still pedophiles. Like they're doing this shit in front of our faces, and we just kind of blind to it. Right. So it's still a thing. Right. And what I want to know is, or what I think about, okay, is it natural for us to just, is it disgusting for us to be this way, or is it just a natural thing for us to just not as young as 12 and 10 and shit like that? I'm just thinking like, okay, before these rules, before America came up with these laws and shit like that, how we were living in these other countries and societies, and we was and fathers was bringing daughters to men like, hey, here's my 13-year-old daughter here. Mm-hmm. So is it disgusting, or is it just the law to make it disgusting?
No, it is. The thing is that males and females are like totally different species. You really are. We're not mm-hmm. the same. And men see women and children as tools.
And children.
And yeah, but specifically women for sure. Y'all see women as tools and commodities and property. You don't see them. Your brain does not register them as human. So this world, men only see other men as human, right? And everything else is to be used. So males operate primarily from the left side of their brain. The left side of your brain is the analytical side of the brain. It is the logical side of the brain. This is the reason why males say men are more logical, because they operate primarily from the left side. But they put a period after logical. Males are more logical in terms of need fulfillment and survival, period, right? So the left side of the brain is where the area of the brain that is responsible for tool usage. When men look at women, their brain lights up where the area for tool usage lights up. Men see women as tools. And so men see each other as human beings, and they sell women and children as commodities and property to other men, right? And so you all look at everything based on sex because of testosterone and your visual processing unit. And you all do some very, very atrocious things to those who you don't register as human. And so through the years, it was cool to do that. But as as the planet moves in consciousness and women fighting for their rights and things like that, men are not natural protectors. Men are women's natural predators, right? Not their protectors, which is the reason why their lives are so in danger. And who's really protecting their children? Women. But you have to manipulate women out of protecting their children and giving them up to men, right? So, yeah.
That was a lot.
Yeah.
We ain't protectors, we predators.
Yeah. I mean, laws were created to govern men, for men, right? The laws were created to govern and control y'all, right? Because of y'all's behavior. You got men in Afghanistan right now, the fathers selling their daughters to men for food, right? Selling 10-year-old and 9-year-old girls to 50 and 70-year-old men so that they can sleep with the girls. No mother, right, who birthed a child who is trying to protect their child, they not finna sell their daughters for no food.
Well, I think they probably think I can make another one.
But that's the male's mentality. That's what I'm saying. Y'all's brains are totally disconnected from this capability of love to even think that y'all will sell y'all's daughters, right? And they ain't selling their sons. Females are a natural resource. Women come with gifts. So the first thing that these males look to sell is their daughters, right? Into sex slavery, right? Where's the love in that? Why won't you get up and you built the world? That's what they're claiming. Why don't you get up and figure out a way as opposed to taking the easy way out and selling your daughter for $200 to an elderly man, right? These men are over here sleeping with kids, right? And men don't see a problem with this. They don't see a problem with it.
That's a problem.
Right?
It's a problem.
Right? So the whole world is in total shambles because who in control? Phallus is in control because the male's brain ain't working. It's Peter Wacker running the world. Right? And everybody is affected by that, especially the children. Right?
It's been a really good show.
Yeah.